man. You cannot marry a woman without gills. You're from two different worlds.
Oh, I've wasted my life.
Incel. Involuntarily celibate. Outcast. The reject of society. Napoleon Dynamite, or that bratty kid from adolescence. You could make the argument that the incel is in fact a term used to identify a certain phenomenon regarding young to middle-aged men. But I think it's fair to say it's mostly used as a slur for the loser who's not getting any. And now that you find yourself fitting the profile of a young man who's struggling in the dumpster fire that is the dating market, you then look in the mirror and wonder if this term belongs to signify you. What up, you guys? I'm Kent E.S. Larwill, and I'm a writer, YouTuber, who talks about everything from philosophy, politics, storytelling, and more. The easiest way to support what I do is to subscribe to this channel and like this video. It's free and takes a second to do. So are you an incel? It's fair to say you haven't gotten any in a while, or maybe haven't gotten any ever, and you are kind of embarrassed about it. But are you rage-filled like the incels they speak of out in the ether? As you browse the internet, which is of course a perfect interpretation of reality, you see the term used to describe the kicked puppy who grew up to be the mangy mutt set to mangle and maim any and all in sight out of sheer sexual frustration. But this does not describe how you feel. You may be disappointed that you're not getting any, fair enough, but you don't really feel like the rage-filled maniac that they seem to describe online, or you don't seem to feel the same kind of shame that you should when certain women ridicule these people. You may be disappointed about not getting laid, as you also feel embarrassed at how this is perceived by others, but the caricature they show does not properly represent your experience. You still have your own hobbies, which bring you great joy, as you have also stayed focused on self-improvement while accomplishing personal goals you are proud of. The word incel, or at least how it's used, doesn't seem to leave any room for you to be proud of your accomplishments or who you are, despite the lack of pussy you may be getting. But wait, is there another term we could use instead of the all-around emasculated punch bag that is the trash gremlin, incel? What about instead of a trash gremlin cast away from society, you are instead one who walks his own path, working on his own grind, setting his own goals, achieving his own vision of success? The lone wolf, Keanu Reeves from John Wick, Keanu Reeves from The Matrix, Keanu Reeves from Johnny Mnemonic, you know? Or how about even just plain old Keanu Reeves walking around in the streets? Sigma is the term used to describe the one who chooses to step outside the social norm, so he can walk on his own path. And so, doesn't it sound a whole lot better if you can call yourself Sigma instead of listening to the noise of girl bosses calling you an incel? Well, of course, the mangy mutt who everyone likes to kick appears less favorable than the one lone wolf who stands majestically on his own. Who wouldn't want to be a Sigma over an incel? But how do you really know you are one over the other? Arguably, if you are involuntarily celibate, then by definition you are an incel. But then the degree of involuntarily comes into question. You may be disappointed you're not getting any, but how much effort are you actually putting into talking to women or getting yourself out there in the dating world? If so, then is it more accurate that you have not made dating or relationships a priority because you have found yourself focused on other pursuits? Your celibacy, therefore, comes at least a little bit voluntary. If you choose to make no effort towards getting laid and instead follow your other pursuits, and if these other pursuits define you more than your lack of getting laid, then you are in fact maybe really Sigma? However, if you were to be honest with yourself, you would at least somewhat admit the lack of human connection with the opposite sex has made you disappointed or maybe even sad. Maybe not psychomaniac sad, but sad nonetheless. This sadness could be the turning point of you being considered an incel. So the push and pull between incel and sigma persists. Where does the line between mangy mutt incel end and the line of lone wolf sigma begin? And how do you determine what side of that line you belong on? We haven't even considered the hybrid option. Nowhere has it been written in the Bible of internet terms that someone could not, in fact, be both incel and sigma at the same time. So if you're not currently getting laid regularly while also focusing on your goals, acting outside of societal norms, maybe you are, in fact, an incel sigma. The perfect blend between a man on his own path yet also aloof with the ladies. You know, like Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
No way!
And if you like that video, then you can check out my book where I talk about that and many other issues that might help you. It's got a title so edgy, I'm not even sure if I can say it on YouTube. So check it out in the description. And as always, if you want, you can like, subscribe, and all that other fun stuff. More videos coming, of course.